The first time I noticed something strange, I thought it was just one of those unlucky days where everything feels slightly off, but you can't explain why. The hotel itself wasn't bad at all. Actually, it was surprisingly beautiful for the price I paid. Dim golden lights glowed along the hallway. Soft carpet absorbed every footstep, and the air smelled faintly like vanilla and polished wood. It was supposed to be just one night. One peaceful night away from noise, work stress, and people who never stopped asking questions. I remember dragging my suitcase behind me, feeling tired but oddly calm, like this night was going to reset something inside me. Room 307. That was mine. I tapped the keycard against the lock, heard the soft click, and pushed the door open. The room welcomed me with cool air and soft lighting. 2 beds, neatly made. A television mounted on the wall. A wide mirror beside the wardrobe. Everything looked perfectly normal. Maybe too normal. You know that feeling when something is so quiet? So perfect that it almost feels suspicious? That was exactly what I felt standing there, holding my suitcase handle like an idiot for 5 full seconds before finally stepping inside. Relax, I whispered to myself, dropping my bag on the bed. You're just tired. I laughed quietly at myself because honestly, sometimes my brain creates drama out of nothing. I kicked off my shoes and flopped onto the bed dramatically, arms spread wide like I had just survived something huge. The mattress was soft, dangerously soft, the kind that makes you want to cancel all plans and disappear into sleep forever. But I didn't sleep. Instead, I grabbed the TV remote and started flipping channels. Some random comedy show was playing, and within minutes I found myself laughing quietly at jokes that weren't even that funny. Maybe it was the silence around me that made everything sound louder. Maybe it was the fact that I was finally alone after weeks of chaos. That was when my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Did you reach safely? I frowned immediately. My fingers hovered above the screen as I stared at the message. Who sends that to a stranger? I typed back cautiously. Who is this? 3 dots appeared instantly, then disappeared, then appeared again. I rolled my eyes. Great, I muttered, one of those mysterious texters. No reply came. Instead, my phone buzzed again, but this time it wasn't a message. It was a notification. Hotel security update? CCTV monitoring active. I blinked slowly, confused. That was weird. Why would I get a notification like that? I hadn't signed up for anything. I wasn't staff. I wasn't even staying for more than one night. Okay, that's new, I whispered, raising an eyebrow. And right here, before the story gets stranger, if you're the kind of person who enjoys mysterious stories like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Because trust me, what happened next is something I still can't explain even today. I tossed the phone aside and leaned back against the pillows, trying to shake off the strange feeling building inside my chest. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was just a system glitch or some automated message sent to every guest. But something inside me refused to relax. A soft knock suddenly echoed from the door. Not loud, not urgent, just slow. 3 gentle taps. My body froze instantly. I stared toward the door, heart beginning to beat slightly faster than before. Hello? I called out cautiously. No response. Silence. I walked slowly toward the door, each step feeling heavier than the last. I checked the peephole. Empty hallway. No one there. I opened the door anyway, just a little, enough to peek outside. Still nothing. The hallway lights flickered once, just once, before stabilizing again. Okay. That was definitely creepy, I whispered, shutting the door quickly. I locked it twice, just in case. Trying to distract myself, I grabbed the complimentary snacks from the small table and started eating like someone who hadn't seen food in days. Chocolate, chips, juice, all gone within minutes. Honestly, I was proud of myself for that performance. At least if I die tonight, I won't die hungry, I joked quietly to myself, chuckling at my own dark humor. And then the TV screen suddenly flickered. The comedy show disappeared, replaced by something else. Security camera footage, black and white video, grainy, silent. My laughter stopped instantly. I leaned forward slowly, squinting at the screen. It showed the hotel hallway. Same hallway. Same carpet. Same lights. Same door. Room 307. My room. What the? I whispered under my breath. The footage timestamp read 7:42 p.m., but right now my phone showed 8:11 p.m., which meant this was recorded earlier. And then I saw it. Someone standing outside my door. A girl, long hair, standing completely still. Not moving, not knocking, just standing there, watching the door. Watching my door. My stomach tightened slowly as a cold wave ran down my spine. Because that girl looked exactly like me. Same height, same hair, same clothes, same everything. I blinked once. Twice. No, I whispered softly. That's not possible. But the footage kept playing, and the girl in the video, the one that looked like me, slowly raised her hand and knocked on the door. 3 gentle taps, exactly like the sound I heard minutes ago. My breathing became shallow, uneven. I grabbed the remote with shaking fingers and tried changing the channel. Nothing changed. Still the CCTV footage. Still the hallway. Still her. Then the footage zoomed slightly. Closer, closer. Until her face filled the screen. And in that moment, she smiled. Not a normal smile. Not a friendly smile. A slow, knowing smile. Like she was aware someone was watching her. Like she was aware I was watching her. My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it in my ears. I leaned back against the bed slowly, unable to look away. And then something happened that made my entire body freeze. The girl in the CCTV footage turned her head slightly and looked directly into the camera. Her lips moved silently, like she was saying something. I leaned forward again, trying to read her lips. Slowly, carefully. And I realized what she was saying. 3 words. Open the door. My throat went dry instantly, because at that exact moment, someone knocked on my door again. 3 gentle taps. Same rhythm, same sound. And this time, I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I didn't speak. I just sat there, staring at the door, while my heart hammered against my chest like it was trying to escape. And deep inside, a terrifying thought began forming. What if the CCTV didn't show what I did, but showed what I was about to do? And what scared me even more was the strange curiosity growing inside me, because instead of running, instead of hiding, a small part of me wanted to open that door, wanted to see who or what was standing outside. And that was the exact moment I realized this night wasn't going to be normal, not even close. And I had absolutely no idea that the CCTV footage would soon show something far worse than a stranger outside my door. Something that made my entire past feel like a lie. And by the time I understood what was really happening, it was already too late. And trust me, the worst part of this story isn't even what you saw on the CCTV. It's what happened after I decided to open the door. For a few seconds, I just sat there, staring at the door like it might explode if I even blinked. The silence inside the room felt heavier than before, like the air itself had thickened around me. My heartbeat was so loud that I could barely hear anything else, but still, I knew that knock had been real. 3 soft taps, same rhythm, same sound, same as the CCTV footage. I swallowed slowly and forced myself to breathe. Okay, relax, I whispered under my breath. Maybe it's just hotel staff. Yeah, that sounded reasonable, logical, safe. But nothing about tonight had felt logical so far. Another knock came. 3 taps, slightly louder this time. My body reacted before my mind could stop it. I stood up slowly from the bed, my feet touching the cold floor. Each step toward the door felt unnatural, like I was walking toward something I shouldn't see. My fingers hovered near the lock, trembling slightly. "Who is it?" I asked, trying to sound calm. A voice answered from the other side. Soft. Calm. Almost familiar. "Room service." I frowned instantly. "I didn't order anything," I replied. There was a short pause. Then the voice spoke again. "You will need it." That reply made absolutely no sense, and somehow that made it worse. For a moment, I actually considered ignoring the door completely, just staying silent, pretending I wasn't inside. But curiosity, that dangerous little emotion, kept pushing me forward. Slowly, carefully, I unlocked the door. 1 click, 2 clicks. My hand hesitated on the handle for a second, then finally turned it. The door opened slightly, and there she was, standing right in front of me. A girl, tall, calm, confident. Long dark hair falling over her shoulders, sharp eyes, a faint smile resting on her lips like she knew something I didn't. She was holding a small tray in her hands, 2 cups of coffee placed neatly on it. But she wasn't wearing a hotel uniform. She was wearing casual clothes, dark jeans, a fitted top, stylish but simple. Not staff, not a guest I recognized, just someone. And somehow she didn't look surprised to see me at all. She smiled wider. "Finally opened," she said casually. Her tone felt strange, like we had done this before. "Who are you?" I asked immediately. Instead of answering, she tilted her head slightly and studied my face like she was analyzing something. Then she laughed softly. "You always ask that first," she said. That sentence made my stomach tighten instantly. "Always?" I repeated. "What do you mean always?" She stepped forward slightly. Not entering the room yet, just standing close enough for me to notice something strange. She smelled familiar. Not like perfume, not like soap. Like something I had smelled before but couldn't remember where. "You look more confused this time," she continued calmly. "This time?" I said sharply. "Yeah," she replied casually, lifting the tray slightly. "You going to let me in or make me stand here all night?" I hesitated. Every logical part of my brain screamed not to let her inside. But something deeper, something emotional, felt oddly comfortable around her, which made absolutely no sense. Still unsure, I stepped aside slowly. She walked in without hesitation, placing the tray on the small table beside the bed like she owned the place. Then she turned around and looked directly at the TV screen, still showing CCTV footage. Still paused on that same image of the hallway. She smiled again. "You saw it, didn't you?" she asked. I didn't answer. I couldn't, because my eyes were locked on her reflection in the mirror beside the wardrobe. For a split second, I thought I saw something strange. Like her reflection moved slightly later than she did. Just a fraction of a second. Almost unnoticeable. But enough to make my chest tighten again. She picked up one of the coffee cups and handed it to me. "Drink?" she said simply. "Why would I drink something from a stranger?" I asked suspiciously. She smirked slightly. "Because last time you said it was the best coffee you ever had." "Last time," I repeated slowly. My head started to ache slightly, like my brain was trying to remember something hidden behind thick fog. "Listen," I said firmly, placing the cup back on the table. "I don't know who you are. I don't know how you got into this hotel. And I definitely don't remember any last time." She didn't look offended. She didn't look surprised. She just looked amused, like she expected this reaction. "Of course you don't," she said calmly. "You never remember at the beginning." That sentence made my throat go dry again. "Beginning of what?" I asked. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she walked toward the TV and picked up the remote. Click. The footage started playing again. This time, it wasn't the hallway. It was inside a room. Room 307. My room. My exact room. But something was different. The bed sheets were messy. The lights were dim. And on the screen, 2 people were visible. One was clearly me, sitting on the edge of the bed, laughing, relaxed, comfortable, like nothing was wrong. And beside me sat her. Same girl, same clothes, same face. We were talking, laughing, like friends. No, not just friends. Closer than that. Comfortable in a way that didn't look new, looked familiar, looked practiced. "What is this?" I whispered, my voice barely audible. She crossed her arms and leaned casually against the wall. "This," she said calmly, "is what happened earlier tonight." My mind rejected that instantly. "That's impossible," I replied. "I just checked in today. I've been alone the whole time." She raised one eyebrow. "Were you?" she asked quietly. The footage continued, and then something happened that made my breath stop. In the video, I reached out and grabbed her hand, not nervously, not awkwardly, comfortably, like it wasn't the first time, like it was something I had done many times before. My chest tightened painfully as confusion turned into fear. "That's not me," I whispered. But deep inside, I knew it was. Same face, same clothes, same room, same night, same me. She stepped closer again, lowering her voice slightly. "You're funny, you know that?" she said. "Funny?" I repeated. "Yeah," she replied, smiling slightly. "Every time this starts, you panic. You deny. You question everything." "Every time," I repeated slowly. My brain struggled to keep up. "How many times has this happened?" I asked. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stared at me for a long second. Then she spoke softly. "More times than you would believe." A cold wave ran down my spine. Before I could respond, the TV footage changed again. Now it showed something even worse. The timestamp jumped forward, later into the night, and on the screen. I saw myself walking toward the door, opening it, stepping outside, looking around the hallway nervously, then turning toward the camera, with a terrified expression, like I had seen something horrible. And just before the footage cut, I saw her again, standing behind me, smiling. That same slow, knowing smile. At that moment, I realized something terrifying. This wasn't just CCTV footage. It wasn't just recorded memory. It felt like a loop, like something repeating itself over and over, and I was stuck in the middle of it. And somehow, she was the only one who remembered everything. And just when I thought the night couldn't get any stranger, she leaned slightly closer to me and whispered something that made my entire body freeze. "Do you want to know," she said quietly, "what you did after that?" My voice barely came out. "What did I do?" She smiled slowly and replied with a calm tone that sent chills down my spine. "You disappeared." Silence filled the room again, heavy, uncomfortable, terrifying. Because deep inside, a horrifying realization began forming. If the CCTV showed something I never remembered doing, then what else had I done? That I couldn't remember at all? And worse, what if the next footage showed something that hadn't happened yet? Something still waiting to happen tonight. The word disappeared echoed inside my head like a sound trapped in an empty tunnel. I stared at her face, trying to find some kind of joke hidden in her expression, some tiny hint that she was messing with me. But there was nothing playful about the way she looked at me now. Her smile had faded. Her eyes had become serious, almost worried. "You disappeared," she repeated quietly. "That's not possible," I said immediately, shaking my head. I'm right here. I'm standing in front of you. She exhaled slowly, like she had expected that reaction. Yes, she replied. You're here now, but later, you won't be. A strange laugh escaped my mouth before I could stop it. Wow, I muttered nervously. So now you're predicting the future too? For a brief second, she smirked slightly. Not predicting, she said calmly. Remembering. That single word made my chest tighten again. Remembering, not guessing, not imagining. Remembering. I turned toward the TV again, my hands slightly shaking. The footage was still paused on the hallway scene, me standing outside the room looking terrified. I leaned closer, trying to study every detail. What happened after that? I asked quietly. She walked behind me, her footsteps slow but steady. You left the room, she answered. You walked down the hallway, and then the cameras lost you. Lost me? I repeated. Like you vanished, she said. I stared at the screen again, trying to process what she was saying. Suddenly, something caught my attention. In the paused frame, there was something unusual. Behind me, the version of me standing in the hallway, there was a shadow on the wall. But the angle didn't make sense. The hallway lights were above, so shadows should fall downward. This one stretched sideways, like it belonged to someone standing just out of view. Wait, I whispered. My finger slowly pointed toward the screen. What's that shadow? She leaned slightly closer, following my gaze. For the first time since she entered the room, her expression changed. The calm confidence disappeared, replaced by something else. Fear. Real fear. You noticed it this time, she whispered. My heartbeat sped up instantly. Noticed what? I asked. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she grabbed the remote again and pressed play. The footage resumed. In the video, I saw myself walking down the hallway again. Same slow steps, same nervous movements. Then suddenly, the shadow moved. Not slowly, not naturally. It stretched across the wall like liquid darkness sliding along the surface. My breath caught in my throat. What is that? I whispered. She didn't reply, because at that exact moment, a new sound echoed inside the real room. Not from the TV, not from the hallway, from inside, behind us. A faint scraping noise. Slow, soft, like something dragging gently across the floor. Both of us turned at the same time. The wardrobe door was slightly open, just a few inches. I froze instantly. I didn't leave that open, I whispered. She stepped slightly in front of me, her body tense now. Neither did I, she replied quietly. The scraping sound came again. Closer this time. Slow. Careful. Like something inside the wardrobe was adjusting itself. My throat felt dry. Every horror movie scene I had ever laughed at suddenly felt very real. You know, I whispered nervously, forcing a weak smile. This is the part where characters make stupid decisions. And I really don't want to be that character. For the first time, she let out a soft laugh. Short. Nervous. Too late, she said quietly. And before I could stop her, she stepped forward, toward the wardrobe. My instinct screamed at me to run, to grab my phone, to leave the room. But my body refused to move. Slowly, carefully. She reached for the wardrobe handle and pulled it open. Nothing inside. Just clothes, hangers, empty space. No movement, no shadow, no sound. I released a shaky breath I didn't realize I was holding. See? I whispered nervously. Nothing there. She didn't answer. Instead, she pointed toward the mirror. My body stiffened instantly. Because in the mirror, the wardrobe behind us looked normal. But something else didn't. Our reflections, mine looked fine. But hers was slightly delayed again. just like before, moving half a second later than she did, like it wasn't fully connected to her body. My chest tightened painfully. "Do you see that?" I whispered. She nodded slowly. "Yes," she replied quietly. Then she turned toward me with a serious expression. "That's why you disappear." My breath caught. "What does that mean?" I asked. She hesitated, then spoke carefully. "It doesn't take you somewhere else," she said. "It takes your reflection first." My heart slammed inside my chest. "Reflection?" I repeated. She pointed toward the TV again. The footage had changed once more, now showing a later timestamp, the final recorded moment of the night. On the screen, I saw myself standing in front of the mirror inside the same room, staring directly at my own reflection, frozen, silent, terrified. Then slowly, my reflection started moving. Before I did, a full second earlier, its lips stretched into a slow smile. That same unnatural smile. My stomach twisted violently, because on the screen, my reflection reached forward and touched the mirror from inside, while the real me was still standing still, unable to move, unable to react. Then, the reflection stepped forward, through the glass, and the real version of me faded, disappeared, gone. The footage ended there. Static filled the screen, white noise buzzing softly. Inside the real room, silence fell again, heavy, unbearable. "What happens next?" I whispered weakly. She looked directly into my eyes, her expression softer now, almost sad. "You wake up again," she said quietly. My eyebrows tightened. "Wake up?" "Yes," she replied. "Same room, same night, same beginning." A chill ran through my entire body. "You mean this has happened before?" She nodded slowly, many times, more than I wanted to imagine. And suddenly, a strange thought crossed my mind, one that made my chest feel tight in a different way. "Why are you still here?" I asked quietly. She hesitated for the first time, then answered softly. "Because I stayed," she said. "Stayed?" I repeated. She nodded. "Every time you disappear, I stay behind," she said. There was something emotional in her voice now, something deeper than fear, something close to attachment. And in that moment, despite all the fear, all the confusion, I felt something unexpected. Comfort? Like I wasn't alone in this nightmare. Like someone had been fighting this loop with me again and again. Then suddenly, the TV flickered again. The screen changed, showing live footage, not recorded, live. Inside room 307, our room, from the corner camera angle, both of us standing near the mirror, frozen, watching. On the screen, my reflection was visible again, but this time, it wasn't copying my movements. It wasn't delayed. It was still and smiling. That same slow, terrifying smile. A crack appeared across the mirror, thin, sharp, spreading slowly across the surface like lightning frozen in glass. I grabbed her hand instinctively. Her fingers tightened around mine. Neither of us spoke. Neither of us moved. Because deep inside, we both understood. This was the moment. The moment the loop always restarted. The moment I always disappeared. But this time, something felt different. Because this time, I wasn't alone. The crack in the mirror spread wider. The reflection leaned forward slightly, reaching closer, closer, until the glass finally shattered with a sharp, violent sound. And in that exact second, the lights inside the room went out. Darkness swallowed everything. Silence returned. Heavy, endless. And when the lights finally turned back on, the room was empty. No footsteps, no voices, no movement, just silence. Except for one thing, the TV screen, Still recording, still active, showing the empty room, waiting for the next loop to begin. And if you've made it this far into the story, make sure to subscribe to the channel because the next story might be even stranger than this one. And trust me, some mysteries are better experienced together.